Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. I recently did a video concerning IGN and their reporting of Black Myth Wukong, and little did I know the story goes deeper and deeper, over and over. And it's kind of funny when a former game dev goes by the name of Grums on Twitter does a better job as a video game journalist than pretty much anybody at Kotaku. What sort of world we live in? But let's get into it. Over here on X, I'm gonna try to start calling it X. IGN has been hammering the slander on game science studios for months. This was after. Let's take a look at this. This goes back. There's no date on this. So, Black Myth Wukong has a release date. Upcoming fantasy adventure Black Myth Wukong is coming August 20th, 2024, with a release on all the consoles. However, developer Game Science has still not responded to reports of sexism. Black Myth Wukong has a release date, but still no reply to reports of sexism. And what on earth did this tiny little text down here say? Well, I went ahead because I can't read. Game Science's unveiling of this trailer of the Game Awards, however, comes just weeks after our own report compiling numerous sexist comments made by the studio's founders. This is Hogwarts Legacy all over again. We're going to talk about the game, but we're going to slip in a little bit something at the end because, got to talk about those sexist comments. And the next one, another article, new Black Myth Wukong trailer ditches Xbox Series X and X. S and X. X and S? I'm just going to go S and X. It just flows off the tongue a lot better. Stick an E in there. Never mind. Little box down there. It's going to say the same thing. Hi, check out the release trailer. But don't forget about the sexism accusations. Black Myth Wukong's physical editions will not come with a disc. Well, that's kind of crappy. Down here in a nice little block, last year IGN wrote an extensive report learning of numerous sexist remarks. My goodness, over and over again. However, if you go back to the Twitter, I think I mentioned it, possible translation issues, and lo and behold, way back, it got community noted. Now, this original post, November 20th, 2023, IGN, indie souls plagued with accusations, because if you get an accusation of sexism or any sort of like that, well, you're done. The court of a public opinion will take over. Except that's not what world we live in anymore. We have the ability to fact check, and well, the sexist quote shown in the article in this lovely this lovely little community note. Sexist quotes shown in the article are poorly translated. Accurate translations show the statements being vulgar. Okay, that's fine. We can be vulgar, but definitely not sexist. IGN reporting on these fallacies, unverified claims as though they're fact, is yellow journalism, which CNs were made to combat. Community notes were made to combat. Gotcha. Now, what else do we have here? Well, let's see. Old Grums coming in as a better reporter than Alyssa Mercante, although that's not really a high bar to get over. After that mishandled translation debacle on Black Myth Wukong hit piece, IGN needs to issue a retraction. And I think we'll get to that. Now, what sort of mistranslations we have here? This is, again, coming from Grums. I have no reason to doubt his sources because everybody's talking about this. The quote from the IGN article, the snake spirit is different from what I imagined, but I cover the bottom half with my hand. It's still possible to jerk off. However, people a lot smarter than anybody at IGN did a proper translation to which it says, it's not what I expected, but it's not impossible to cover the bottom half of the body with your hand. It's not impossible. That was that. To which, I believe this is over on Reddit. Few people talking about it. We all quoting the English translation for a bunch of gamers who care about accurate translations of foreign sources. I think we can do better. You would be correct, especially concerning IGN. I would expect this from Kotaku, but IGN, you need to do better. If a world leader fluent in Mandarin can give a speech in Chinese and inadvertently say he wanted China and Australia to have a mutual orgasm, I think we should give the benefit of the doubt here in the translation. Another response. Well, I think this report is a joke. Loads of mistranslations, questioning whether or not it's on purpose or not. Like, how could they mistranslate it? You will be, I can't see that, to you can jerk off to it. Oopsie. It is clearly an intentional mistranslation to fit the sexism narrative, which kind of leads you to believe that, well, the accusations, not speculation, definitely accusations of allegedly sweet baby stench trying to extort money from the game studio. When the studio said no, they sent out the instructions to all the lamestream game journalists to run your hit pieces. Go after them. It leads a little bit more credibility to that. But again, I'm just here to talk about it. You make that decision for yourself because you are all smart people. And if you check who they interviewed, Mr. Ki-Hoon Chan, who has his own political agenda. Oh, dearie my. Maybe they went out and looked for someone specific. This whole article is taking things out of context. These journalists must have never been to China, don't know Chinese language, and used machine translations, and didn't even try to understand Chinese internet slangs. Now, what on earth could these internet slangs be? So here we go. This is the one that got me kind of chuckling. This IGN translation on their article says, "I want to expand my circle and hire more people, get licked until I can't get an erection." To which there was a response. One quote, let's see, the text, and you can read it right there, folks, translates literally to want to expand your circle and recruit more people, but got licked to the point of being unable to get an erection. However, the phrase, which would be this little second half there, is a used idiom in the Chinese language, which essentially would be, a figure of speech, as a colloquial expression used humorously or sarcastically to describe a situation where excessive flattery or sycophancy has an overwhelming or paralyzing effect on someone. The use of such metaphors can be found in informal speech or on social media. So perhaps vulgar, but not necessarily sexist. But we've got more, ladies and gentlemen, because apparently PC Gamer got in on the act. Of course they did, because they're going to follow suit. Almost as if it was a word for word. PC Gamer has joined in on the slandering of game science and Wukong. All you're going to do, again, I said before, a little while ago, this is going to result in, Hogwarts Legacy effect. I guess we shouldn't call it the Streisand effect anymore. It will be the Hogwarts Legacy effect because we're talking about video games. There you go, everybody. The Hogwarts Legacy effect. When the mainstream journalists, so-called journalists, start to shit on a game over and over and over again, it gets the interest of the gamer. And they go, oh, you don't like it? Well, let me go buy it. I'm going to buy a couple of copies and give them away on the live stream. So I heard a lot of live streamers, a lot of gaming streamers did that with Hogwarts Legacy. These reporters are scum. Scum is probably useful. Pond scum, you can use it as algae, fertilizer, whatever. Oh, of course, my first 2 hours with Black Myth Wukong were a flurry of demanding boss fights, unbelievably pretty characters, and surprisingly sparse world. So, praising, and yet we're going to come in right at the end, just like Hogwarts Legacy. If you're not one of the many Souls-like fans who rocketed, then you've probably seen it in passing. What do we got here? You might remember game science as the subject of a 2023 IGN report detailing the history of sexism from one of its founders. Let's get in on the act. And of course, IGN comes over and does the same thing with their little 2-hour review here. Black Myth Wukong, hands-on with an impressive first 2 hours. And of course, comes in with this lovely little report. Do I have it up here? Let's go ahead and read this out. This is the closest thing. This is about our report from last year. They spent an entire article praising the game, the look, the feel, the gameplay, the graphics, and all these other stuff, but still had to come in with this nonsense from Rebecca Valentine about our report from last year. Last year, we published a comprehensive report where you had tons of mistranslations, possibly intentional or not, to make the game developers look bad, detailing a number of sexist and inappropriate remarks made by multiple developers of Black Myth Wukong that you mistranslated. You mistranslated them. Okay. Including those in leadership roles. Vulgar, yes. Sexist, no. Sorry. As a publication of this preview, Game Science has yet to provide any response because they don't have to. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but you don't. They don't have to give you a response. You haven't earned it. You don't deserve it. Why would they? Honestly, I can't imagine anyone responding to sites like yours. Again, I would expect this from Kotaku because they have a bit of a reputation, maybe Polygon, CBR, stuff like that, running hit piece after hit piece on things that gamers want. An entertaining video game that looks pretty, has fun gameplay, a good gameplay loop. And it's kind of looking with all these 2-hour reports that, yes, looks like this is something to get your hands on. Open up your wallets and go check it out. Don't pre-order this game. Wait for the reviews. Wait for someone you enjoy watching to check it out first. Unless, of course, you want to stick it to the well, they call us chuds. Stick it to the game journos. And turn this into yet another Hogwarts Legacy. Yet to provide any response, who cares? Like Mitchell, I had the opportunity to see Black Myth Wukong at Summer Games Fest, though my appointment was admittedly a little strange. I was told as part of my invitation that Game Science would have a statement, quote, related to the reports of sexism. I arrived at the appointment and saw the game as planned, but when I asked for the promised statement, I was told by a PR representative, quote, Game Science is focused on the demo during playdays and will only answer questions related to the gameplay because that's what you're there for. You are a video game journalist. You do not work the mainstream. You don't work for MSNBC or CBS or NBC or any of the alphabet networks. You work for a video game website. You want to do editorials. You want to go talk about the personal lives and the goings on and stuff like that. Go find a job at a different website. IGN is a gaming website. Kotaku is a gaming website. Maybe, just maybe, here's a thought, get back to talking about the video games. Leave the other nonsense to people more suited to it. You go to Summer Games Fest to check out the demo, and you want to ask them questions on a personal level, a more behind-the-scenes level. They only want to talk about the gameplay. They want to talk about the game. That's what you're there for. Moving on. Preview, let's see. Mitchell's preview doesn't need my validation. Okay. But for what it's worth, I fully back everything he's written. Ah, okay. So, talking about the original author of the article, Black Myth Wukong looks like it'll be a great game. It's gorgeous with snappy combat, fantastic monster design. I gotta go check out this demo. I have to go check it out. And some really interesting boss fights. Sorry, I've been playing V Rising. Moving on. It is also true that several of the people who are making it have made disparaging remarks about women that you mistranslated. So I'm sorry if I don't believe you. You mistranslated, and it looks like it was intentional. And don't seem interested either in retracting their past statements. You mean kind of like you're doing here? Caught in a lie or a mistake, you be the judge, and yet you're not going to retract your articles, your statements. You are doubling down on your nonsense. So no, I don't see why they would respond to you. Oh, or in supporting the numerous women who are being harassed in online conversations. Where? Who? How? Show it. Show your receipts. Kind of like, you know, receipt, 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 one receipt after another, and yet you can't show one. You cannot show a single one. I would have blasted it all over the article if I had proof that there were women being harassed, actual harassment, not just being called names. Oh no, actual harassment. I mean, hell, even if they were being called names, you would show it. You would have some sort of receipt to show on this article. You'd be blasting it all over the internet. You would have an article strictly dedicated to the harassment of women over conversations about Black Myth Wukong, purely for expressing their discomfort with those statements. Well, the reason why you're not seeing it now, more than likely, is because people came out and go, oh, so they were just mistranslated. But you're not going to come out and say that. It got smaller. Don't say that. Let's get back to that one. Okay. Both of these ideas can exist simultaneously. No, they don't, because you're lying. They cannot exist simultaneously because your translation was incorrect. Did I say that already? I did, and I'm going to keep on saying it. Mostly because, well, why do I repeat myself? To make sure people don't forget. When someone does some nonsense like this, instead of retracting, saying, we made a mistake, we had a mistranslation, we're going to go and correct it, you double down. That shows your credibility or lack thereof. Both of these can exist simultaneously. What audiences want to do about this conflict is ultimately their choice. You're just making people want to buy the game more. One last note, and this is the absolute favorite thing. If you didn't know, Black Myth Wukong, the main character, is a monkey. It's based on, I believe, Chinese folklore, Chinese lore. The Monkey King. I do not know the specific name of the whole thing, but I have a little bit of interest. The trailer looks fantastic, and I'm going to check it out for sure. But this, it's got monsters in it. Monsters. Demons, essentially. On one last note, this statement is so fantastic. I didn't see any women or femme-coded characters in the demo. Who cares? I do not understand why that is so astronomically. Why is that part of your review? There's no women or femme-coded. It's a video game where the main protagonist is a monkey man. Spirit, but okay. I was able to confirm from Game Science that there were none present in the section of the game presented to the press, clutching my pearls. Oh no! So not only are you not going to retract your statement, not only are you going to double down with this, but you're going to make a futile attempt, because I do believe it is a futile attempt, to add more fuel to the fire to make Black Myth Wukong and Game Science Studio look even worse, because, oh no. I have some unfortunate news for you. Not every video game needs to have a female character or a femme-coded character. It's not necessary at all. You don't have to do it. And that's okay. Games that have it, those are okay too. This isn't necessary. Not all games need to be for everyone. There will be women in the final game. Oh, celebration! Who cares? Is the game going to be fun? Because that's what gamers care about. But for now, it's impossible to really comment on whether or not the Game Science developers' expressed beliefs permeate Black Myth Wukong. And what are their expressed beliefs? He used a figure of speech in talking about the game. He compared game development to stillborn pregnancy. And that, although rather morbid, it makes sense if you think about it for more than half a second and don't look for things to get offended by. And the idea, where was it? I want to get back to, where is it? I like this one. This one right here. Metaphors can be found in informal speech, a colloquial expression because you don't know how to do your due diligence as a video game reporter. Finding out all the information, getting proper translation, a colloquial expression used humorously and sarcastically to describe a situation where excessive flattery and sycophancy has an overwhelming and paralyzing effect on someone. It means people were praising him so much that he just couldn't go anymore. That's what it comes across to me. Was it vulgar? Maybe. Was it sexist? No. But again, that's just my opinion. You be the judge and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. It's amazing to see Grums, a former video game developer and current video game developer, whether you like him or not or anything, doing a far better job getting information, reporting video game news than, well, what Kotaku and now IGN and Polygon have been putting out as of late. But again, you be the judge. Make your own decisions for yourself. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things that YouTube is begging to do, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.